One of the Roman gods was named Janus, Janus. Among other things, he was the god of new beginnings. And eventually that evolved into our adoption of January as the first month of the year. But Janus is also known for something else. He's depicted in art as having two faces, one looking forward, and the other, in what we would say is the back of the head, looking backwards. And Janus could well be an image we can use for reflecting on the season of Advent. Because in Advent we look backwards to the celebration of the Feast of Christmas, but we also look forward to the end of time, the second coming of Christ. And in the scriptures this morning, there was no mention of a stable or Mary or Joseph or even John the Baptist. The whole focus is on the end of time. We heard, "Be vigilant at all times and pray that you may have the strength to escape the tribulations that are imminent." Or earlier, we're told to stand erect and raise your heads because your redemption is at hand. Those aren't images associated with Santa or elves or even the scene at the manger. They comprise more of a prediction or a warning or a statement about the end of time, when you and I will stand before the throne for judgment. It's not a very Catholic tradition to think about the end of time in a prominent way as it is in some other faith traditions. But maybe the new movie 2012 will get us thinking about the end. Basically, Advent tries to quicken within us the knowledge that all that we have here is temporary. It's transitory. It's non-permanent. And maybe as we focus so much on the here and now, Advent really tries to remind us that the here and now will not forever be. That there is a future. There is a transition that will take place. But like Janus, we also look backwards in Advent, and we will later in the season begin to reflect on the role of John the Baptist and the great gift of incarnation that our church celebrates on December 25th. Janus only had two faces. But really we need a third perspective in the Advent season. That perspective would be on the present and the invitation we have to make Christ present here, today. And we do so by enabling others to see Christ in us. Part of the preparation for Advent might be borrowing from the gift giving that is the secular celebration of Christmas to say that we really need to give of ourselves. We really need to end the cycle of selfishness that can exist in all of us. How each one ends that selfishness is unique to each of us. What Advent does is try to sensitize the need for us to address that issue in our life. And it's not easy. Friday was termed Black Friday, with a hope that the retailers will end the day in the black rather than the red. And there are all sorts of stories about people who got up in the middle of the night or never went to bed at all, stood in line to get a bargain, to get something cheaper for the gift giving. Well, there is no Black Friday in the Advent season. There are no cheap prices to pay to get rid of our selfishness. Discipleship itself is never cheap. It costs a lot, but we believe it's a price worth paying. Future, past, and present. Those are the three faces of Advent, which we need to familiarize ourselves with as we journey to the great celebration of Christmas.